Right, let's talk cricket then, shall we? Kevin Pietersen, KP, the box office player, reverse sweep and all, back in the England squad. Let's bring in Andrew Miller, editor of the Cricketer. He's got a 4-month contract and a reintegration process. Andrew, thank you for taking the time to speak to us. Good evening. What's your reaction, first and foremost, to KP's planned reintegration? For it?
Well, I'm very glad he's back. I don't quite understand what the reintegration process is meant to mean. I mean, basically, it's a 4-month contract.
It's like taking a tiger out of the jungle and putting him into the zoo or something, isn't it?
Well, exactly. It's a very strange scenario. The ECB don't quite know how to deal with this. They've given him a 4-month contract that gets him through the winter, basically. It means that, hopefully it means that he can go out to India, where frankly England would get hammered if they didn't have him in the side. They're probably going to lose in their current form at the moment, but they would get hammered if they didn't have a guy of his calibre on Indian pitches to give him a hope. I mean, he scored a brilliant 100 in Colombo only recently, back in March, I think it was, match-winning 100. He's the sort of guy who can actually take the attack to India's spinners. So, he's back in the side for that. It's a very big series. England want to win it. After that, who knows? We've got the IPL looming in the new year.
Yes.
And he'll be out of contract. So God knows what is going to happen. We're going to have a whole schmozzle blowing up yet again. So, it's going to be fun and games.
Let's clarify the text message situation, because Kevin Pietersen has said, I didn't say anything derogatory about Andrew Strauss, and I didn't give away tactical information. So what was the whole affair about then, in that case?
Well, personally, I don't really care what the affair was about. I really don't believe that this is the issue. I think the ECB have been very careful to sort of dress this up as a dressing room problem, whereas actually it's nothing of the sort. KP is having, well, look at it. Giles Clarke is the man who has to be wheeled out to announce his reintegration process.
And that lovely haircut.
The chairman of the ECB, if this is a dressing room issue, why on earth does it have to be the chairman who deals with it? It's clearly not a dressing room issue. It's a political issue that impacts on KP's desire.
Guys, can I ask the guys in the studio, as fans with Kevin Pietersen, and you get a ticket, say a ticket price, whatever much, £20, X amount to watch England, are you more likely, Stewart Robson, to buy a ticket if Kevin Pietersen's playing?
But I'll be against what most fans would probably think, because I don't want to see Kevin Pietersen play for England again. I think, I do know one or two cricketers, that the trouble that he's caused in the dressing room, the other players don't like him.
Yeah.
And Steve Waugh wrote something really good today. He said, if a player doesn't integrate with the rest and doesn't carry out the instructions and isn't in the team ethic and ethos, then he shouldn't be playing. Because everything is about the team. And from Kevin Pietersen, when he first came into the side, no matter how many runs he got, you could tell he wasn't a team player. And, he infuriates me. I just can't watch him.
I just asked the point. You've got James Olley, football correspondent for The Standard here as well, Andrew, in the studio. I just wondered, I make the point as well because, and I have to admit this as an Englishman, I was almost rooting for the Windies to go through in the World 2020 so I could see Chris Gayle. And that's because he's a box office player who you want to see play in the latter stages, as is Kevin Pietersen, and perhaps England don't have those players that you get really excited about seeing. Just being honest, as a casual cricket fan.
I mean, look, Pietersen was integral to the World 2020 side that won it 2 years ago. It's clear that England's batting unit are not as strong without him in the lineup. I'd just like to ask Andrew, really, given that the issue with Pietersen was with Strauss, I think that's fair to say that that was the main issue between the two of them. The fact that Strauss is no longer there, and the ECB, something that really interested me in the statement was that they were saying, well, because Pietersen's deleted these text messages, that's satisfactory enough for the ECB to draw a line under it. Is it not the real situation here that now Strauss isn't there, the issue isn't nearly as big as it was before?
No, I don't think that's the case at all. I really don't think he had that big an issue with Strauss. And even if he did, I think Andrew Strauss is a big enough man, a sensible enough man to take it with a pinch of salt. I mean, you talk about KP not being a team player, and I'm not here to defend him, but nonetheless, he has been an England player for the best part of a decade. He averages nearly 50. He's got 7,000 test runs. He's contributed to England getting to #1 in the world, Ashes victories, man of the series in the World 2020. He's done a lot for England, and I think he just feels a little bit let down at the moment, that he feels like an outsider in the dressing room. I think that's fair to say that he's never mixed very well, and you could say that's his fault, but equally you do sometimes wonder if some guys haven't quite gone out their way to integrate him, to use the awful word, in a way that doesn't involve sort of crazy political processes doing the job artificially.
But hasn't he had problems everywhere he's been?
He has. To be fair,
I mean, you can only have problems, in one or two places.
One of his captains tossed his bag over the side of the pavilion, didn't he? I think
it
as well.
sums it up, I think.
Don't get me wrong. I think he is, to use one of the Afrikaner
Andrew,
words.
has he got a future for England? Before you go, has he got a future for England? Will he play in the next Ashes series? Will he be a big part of the future for England?
I think he will. I think England can't do without him right this minute. I think he's box office apart from anything else. On two levels. They need his runs, and they need him as the box office man who draws a crowd.